Good morning. George Adventure here. Good morning, Knife Brotherhood and Sisterhood. Hope everybody had a great July the 4th, great weekend. I was a little slack on my videos last week, but we went on a camping trip and I spent time with my daughter and my son-in-law and my grandbabies, Miss Linda and all. So the other videos were a little slack. I'm gonna make up for it this week, but so today's topic on this beautiful Monday is unleashing the power of compassion. It's about compassion, being compassionate, and compassion, a feeling of deep sympathy and sorrow for another who is stricken by misfortune, accompanied by a strong desire to alleviate the suffering. So that's compassion. And it's like, I don't know, seems like nowadays our country lacks compassion, just in general. Now, I see compassion in this brotherhood, knife brotherhood, in the knife community. I see it. I see compassion. And I do see people that have compassion for other people. My wife, Miss Linda, is a very compassionate person. I mean, she's like just, she's got the heart for people. And I know people. There are a lot of people that are that way, but I also know some that's not that way. And you just look at our country, and it's like we're kind of lacking that now. Everybody's about me. Not everybody, but it's like our culture is all about me. What can I get? What can I get for myself? What can I do for myself? I mean, when you got somebody being beat up by 5 people, and all the other people are doing is getting their cameras and taking videos and yelling, yeah, I mean, that's no compassion. You're not helping that person. So sorry about that. Good cup of coffee this morning. So what does it mean to love your neighbor? That's compassion. What does it mean to love your neighbor? The golden rule, and this is from Scripture. Treat others as you would like others to treat you. We all want people to treat us the right way, treat us with kindness. Help a man. Help a person. Help somebody. When we can. There's different ways to help people. It's not always with money. It's not always buying them something, but sometimes that can be one way that we help them. How does God's Word define compassion? And I just read that to you. Compassion is seeing something wrong and doing something about it. When I worked for the power company, I was out and about a lot. I mean, I was in my company truck going here and there, and one of my buddies wanted to ride along with me. He was a trainer down there. Me and him good friends, so he wanted to take a day to go visit the cruise with me. So I had some crews up in Athens, Georgia, so we went up there. And just a quick story, we pull up at this red light, and we looked over on the sidewalk. We saw this lady. She's walking across the road. I guess she just missed her step and she fell, and she face planted into the concrete. So she kind of was struggling. So we got out. Me and my buddy, I just put the truck in park and put my strobes on. We got out and ran over there, kind of helped her up. And she was bleeding real bad. She, skinned her elbows and knees and had a real bad place on her head. So call 911, get the first aid kit, try to make her feel better, whatever we could do. There's just a lot of blood, so stayed with her, and some reason it took 911 forever to get there, but that's having compassion, and I don't know how many people would have went by and just left her laying there. I don't know, and I've seen that before. People just kind of turn their head and they'll just keep going, and that's a lack of compassion. We can't have contact, or we can't have compassion without contact with people. Just like us going over there and helping that lady. Compassion without Jesus is just a Band-Aid. Jesus calls us to show compassion in our own community first. Yeah. How can I unleash the power of compassion in my own life? And that's helping people. And it don't even have to be a stranger, It can be, doing something for somebody. Somebody is in need of something, It could be just something small, When you pray, ask God to break your heart for things that break his heart. God's very compassionate. Jesus was very compassionate. Prayer, God give me, is a good prayer, is God give me a compassionate heart and love for people. And I know some people just hard to love, man. Some people, and that's the truth. There's some people that just hard to love. They're just, you have to really try to love them, and they're for whatever reason, whether they're just, not nice people or, very self-centered people or whatever. So, break down the barriers with people. I work with a lot of people, and coming up, and I learned that you gotta have compassion. You gotta have compassion for your employees and your coworkers, your family. Compassion without sacrifice is just convenience. Pray and engage with compassion. So open your heart to be sacrificial and generous with your life and resources. Like I said, it ain't always money, or, everybody don't have a lot of money to always be giving people. It's good to do it when you can. But, be a neighbor. If somebody is down, help them, maybe go cut the grass or go get them some groceries, or, just whatever, just be, help them, help people out. If you see somebody on the side of the road, pull over with caution, see if they need some help. So compassion is godly. That's what we need to remember. Love your neighbor as yourself. And that's hard to do sometimes. It's hard to do. And I'll admit it, it's hard for me to do sometimes with certain people. So, just keep that in the front of your brain, be compassionate to people. This whole world is mean, this whole world's hard sometimes. A lot of evil, a lot of people that don't want to help people, don't have any compassion, that don't have a compassion bone in their body. So we need to remember that. We need to be the shining light for people. Help a brother, help a sister, help people, family member, friend, it doesn't matter. Just help them. Be a good neighbor. Okay, so that's the talk. So me and Miss Linda went did a little antiquing. What day was it? Gosh, I've been gone. I've been gone for 4 days. It was Friday. No, it was Saturday. I'm sorry. It was Saturday. We went to Center, Alabama. We were staying at a campsite up at the lake, and where they're campers. So we found us a couple antique stores, and we went to them, and these were the good kind that had a lot of old stuff, you know, old tools and just a lot of different stuff. Had some knives and you know, stuff like that. So the second one, the last one I went to, we went to two, and so they had, when you walk in, they have some counters and everything up front. I looked at one counter and looked, and they had like a Craftsman knife, and it was a Stockman, pretty big size Stockman. Well, it was the same size as a 75, K75. So they had another glass one that had, the lady said, well, all these knives are 30% off, and there was a lot of new case knives in there. Wasn't nothing I was interested in. I didn't really see nothing. I kind of lit my fire. So I looked down at the bottom, and there was like this red piece of velvet laying there. And this knife here was laying there. It was laying on the velvet, and I asked her if she'd open it so I could look at it, because the shield was the first thing that kind of struck my curiosity, got my curiosity up, you know. So she opened it up. She said, no, you know, this one's 30% off too. I said, okay, great. So I looked at it and picked it up, you know, and looking at it. So I opened it up and opened the blade up, and I looked on the tang, looked at the tang stamp, and I don't know if you can see it. It says Winchester. And so I said, Winchester. And it's hard to see. It says made in the USA. It says Winchester trademark, made in USA. So I knew with this shield, because I'd seen some Winchesters, different, some books, seen some, you know, that was real expensive. So I knew this shield, when I first seen the knife with the shield, I was hoping that's what it was. So I looked at it. So she took the 30% off, and it was a good deal. It was a good deal. To me, it was for a Winchester. I hadn't found this exact one, but this is an early, from what I can tell, this is an early Winchester. It's got some writing or some stamping on the tang here on this blade. It's hard to see. It says Winchester, and like I said, I can't hardly see it. The only thing I've done with this knife is I've cleaned it up, polished it up, and you know, you can see the tang stamp there. I don't know what the handle material is. I've got to do some research on it and find out. I think it's carbon steel the way it looks. There's a little bit of thinner on it. But like I said, I polished it up, cleaned it up. You know, it's just like any old knife that sits around, it gets dull, and you know, I don't know what kind of handles these are, what kind of covers these are. I really don't. It's hard to tell. It's got some jigging on it. You can see the jigging. It feels like bone, but I don't know. I'm gonna do some research. I've got to get me a one of those case collector, or but a knife collector's book. I got to find one, and so I can find some of these knives, because I was very excited. My wife didn't even know Winchester made knives. And I don't know what knife company made it. I don't know the history of it. I'm gonna find out, because this knife, it's not mint. It looked like it has been lightly used over the years. Blade's been sharpened a little bit, you can tell right here. It's got this swedge. It's got a long nail pull. You can see the swedge on it. But I was so excited, man, when I found this knife. I'm like, good gracious, I'm getting this thing. I've looked, I've always wanted one. And so I got on eBay there when I was there. And I found some knives with the same shield. And there was a few of them going for $300 or $400. So I thought, well, I really can't go wrong. The boasters, I mean, they're, they don't even hardly have any, scratches on. This knife hadn't been carried much. It hadn't been carried much at all. The blade's been used a little bit, looks like. This pen blade, this thing's got some freaking snap. I'm keeping my fingers out of the way. I'm still healing from that. But so it's got a nice little pen blade. Brass pins. It's got brass liners. But the shield, y'all know I love my shields. I love especially the unique ones like this one. This looks kind of like a dog bone or a hot dog, I'm not sure. Really not sure what it is. Like I said, I'm gonna get down and do some research on it. Try to find exactly this knife. See what it's worth. But beautiful knife, y'all. Beautiful knife. So anyways, that's my Monday morning inspirational talk with a little knife talk. I had to show this to y'all. I just thought it was a great find. I found some Zippo lighters and stuff. I didn't get any of them. I didn't really see any that, kind of sparked my, interest. But that's okay, because there'll be another day. And we wrote down these antique places we went to so we can revisit them. So anyway, so that's my video, y'all, and I hope y'all have a great day. I appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate y'all if you subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, and hit the like, and y'all have a great Monday. Be safe out there. Hydrate if you're out there in this heat. And make sure you're not getting dehydrated, and there's ways you can tell. So take care. God bless you. And y'all have a safe day and be safe out there.